What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Entrepreneur Motivation Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Bello from chrisbello.com. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Gary Vaynerchuck's highest viewed video on his channel right now called One Life, No Regrets. And if you've listened to my previous episodes before, you'll know that a hack that I like to do to get to the best content is to sort in descending order by views to watch what was most popular. And this is Gary's most viewed video right now. 4.7 million views. This video was posted 3 years ago and it's less than 3 minutes in length. It's only 2 minutes and 45 seconds long. Got a crazy amount of views and likes and comments and engagement. Gary in this video says that the biggest poison is regret. You hear so many people talking about it on their deathbed. They think of all the things they didn't do, and at the end of the day, you're gonna feel worse about the things you didn't do than the things that you did do, and you might have kind of regretted a little bit, right? Granted, you don't do anything insane like kill somebody or whatever on accident, drunk driving or something, because that would be pretty bad, and you'd probably regret that a lot. So don't do that. But Gary said he pushes so hard, and we all have different vehicles on how we push. His vehicle just happens to be business. He loves business. He loves the game, the thrill, building businesses, helping others with their businesses. That's just what he loves. And he always pushes having a lack of regret. He tries things, he does whatever it is that he thinks he's called to do. And that's how we all need to live in our lives. We do not want to go to our deathbeds having not taken risks and tried new things. Another powerful thing that Gary said is that if anybody ever did it, you can too. And that's so true. You think about what other people have accomplished, things that you thought were previously impossible, and they've been done. We fly in planes from point A to point B all the time without even giving it a second thought. But at one point, that was considered impossible. So just dream big and just be inspired because others have done cool things before us, and we can totally do that and more. Gary also says in this video that you just have to make one person happy. Yourself. You. It seems a little selfish at first, I know. But if you're not happy, you're not going to be able to make other people happy. You've got to be happy before you can make others happy. It's kind of like when you're on a plane and they tell you during the safety presentation that if the oxygen masks fall down, put your own mask on, secure your own oxygen mask first before helping a neighbor or a kid or anything like that. So you have to take care of you first before you can take care of other people. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. In the plain example, if you don't put your oxygen mask on and you try to help somebody else out, you might pass out before you can truly help them. Another point that Gary made in the video, when you're happy in life, your business can roll. You can really just dominate and crush and get momentum because when you're good, when you're happy, when you love showing up every single day, you love what you do, it's much easier to put in the blood, sweat, and tears required to become successful. And then this was another great quote. This is why this whole video is such fire. There's just one great quote after another, one great point after another. Gary then says, how you make your money is more important than how much money you make. This reminds me of what I think I remember reading in the 4 Hour Work Week. Don't quote me on that, it may be another book. But I remember hearing something along the lines of, would you rather make $100,000 a year working 60 hours a week or 80 hours a week? Or would you rather make $60,000 a year working 20 hours a week? How you make your money is more important than how much money you make. I'd rather make the 60,000 working 20 hours a week because you're doing pretty well without having to put that much time in. Your dollars per hour earned are much higher than if you were to do 60 or 80 hours a week, right? When you're working 20 hours a week, making a pretty good living, you've got flexibility, you've got time to do your lifestyle stuff. Go on vacation for 3 weeks, go surfing, try spending a month in Asia, go overseas. Those are things that you can't do when you're tied up in a job that only gives you 10 days of vacation a year and you're stuck at from, we say 9 to 5, but realistically, by the time you leave, you drive through traffic, you get there, it's more like 7 from when you leave your house to 6 o'clock p.m. when you get home, leaving you no time for yourself, for your family, to eat healthy oftentimes. You've got to try to pick up food on the way in, maybe meal prep, and then boom, you got to do it again the next day because you didn't have enough time. And if you did really well in there, when I used to do the corporate days, I would go to work, I'd work out at lunch, I would have meal prepped before, and then I come home, eat my healthy food, maybe I'd meal prep again if I ran out of food for the rest of the week. And it was just a grind every single day. Work, work out, eat, maybe take a rest day one day and watch a TV show that I hadn't caught up on in a while repeat. And it was not a life that I loved. It was not a life that made me happy and fulfilled. And I was frustrated because I was just caught up in this cycle of constantly working and working and trading time for money that I never had time to do anything I wanted. In college, I had time and no money, so I couldn't really go anywhere. I couldn't travel very far, very much. Had to do a lot of couch surfing when I would go to places like Austin, Texas, and hang out with friends in college there. After college, when I got a good job, I had money, but I had no time. I could never go anywhere. Of course, this is definitely a first world problem. I could go nicer places, I could afford nicer things. I paid off my student loans, I bought a car, I paid that off too. So I'm grateful for the income that the job provided. But I didn't have time really to do things for myself. Vacation days were few and far between where I'd have to use a holiday on a Monday and then stack up a vacation day on a Friday just to escape and have a decent vacation so I could go out of the state and settle somewhere, have a few nights of fun, and then come back to get back into the swing of things again. And there's nothing like having that ability to just be remote, work wherever you want, do things that you're passionate about every single day where you're excited to jump out of bed and show up. So, you listening now, are you living a life that you won't regret? Ask yourself that question. Are you doing things that you actually love to do, or are you doing things that are going to set you up for failure or help you get complacent and settle for mediocrity or for second best? Think about that very deeply right now. What are you about to do right now? Are you driving to a job you hate? Or are you driving to your dream job? Are you driving to a coffee shop where you're now doing freelance work from because you're minimizing your costs and you don't have the money yet to get an office space, or you're working from your home office? Think about what it is that you're doing every single day. And if you're doing something that you don't love for too many days in a row, it might be time to change something. I'm going to link up Gary's video. It's extremely inspiring. He does have some cussing in there, so I know some people love him or hate him. Some people wonder why he cusses so much, but other people are like, man, that's awesome. It sticks so much more because he's very divisive. You either love him or you hate him. You can't please everybody. You got to be divisive. You got to be powerful with what you say. You're going to have very loyal fans. You may have some people who just don't really like you that much. But I'm going to link up the video in the show notes. Make sure to go watch it. It's a real good video. It's less than 3 minutes in length and it left me inspired. One life, no regrets. That's what it's called. And remember that the biggest poison is regret. So, key takeaways, a few points we talked about today. The biggest poison in life is regret. Make sure you don't go to your deathbed having looked back and having a list of regrets of things you wish you had tried or done, things that you wish you had done sooner, like quitting the job that you hate or moving out of the town that you just didn't have any friends in because you didn't get along with everybody. You can start over. You can reinvent yourself at any point in time. It just requires a decision and action. Another key takeaway is if anybody ever did it, you can too. We can model success. There's so much free information online. If you have a question, if you want to learn something new, you can just YouTube it or Google it and you will learn it if you put the time and effort in. You will learn it and you can apply those new skills. You can also start to network and find other people who are successful in those things and they'll help you crush it as well in that space. Daily motivation, I really love this quote, so I'm going to have to say it again from Gary Vaynerchuck. How you make your money is more important than how much money you make. Actionable steps. Do that homework. Close your eyes for a few minutes after you listen to this podcast or right now if you can. Am I taking the action necessary? Or am I just going through the motions? Ask yourself those questions and make sure to be proactive in your approach. Take the actions necessary to walk towards your dreams and accomplish them and make them a reality. So, with that being said, thank you all for listening in today. I really appreciate you being here. Remember to go check me out at chrisbello.com if you're interested in checking out some free resources, some trials, and some software and things that I recommend. chrisbello.com/resources. And if you need any good books to read, I've got a book list that I'm actively adding to chrisbello.com/books. Catch you on the next episode of the Entrepreneur Motivation Podcast. And I hope you have a solid, productive, amazing week filled with no regrets. Talk to you all soon. Peace.